Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah, wa ala alihi wa ashabihi wa man wala, amma ba'du. Then we're going to continue our lessons in An-Nahu al-Wadih. An-Nahu al-Wadih. Every Yom al-Sabt, every Saturday, bi'idhnillah ta'ala, our third class will be An-Nahu al-Wadih, the book Arabic grammar, the clear Arabic grammar. And we have reached a Juz al-Thalith, the third section from the Kitab al-Ibtidaiyya, the elementary level book. We have reached the third level. And the previous classes are all on YouTube. And the reviews as well as a translation of the rules that we put together. A translation of the rules that we put together are available on the blog. If you have the link to this class, then you have the link to the blog for Learn Arabic resources. Learning Arabic or Learn Arabic resources, then the link is there for that translation. And we have here Juz Thalith. If you need to catch up, then we will. You can go back and look at those videos. As for us, we're going to continue, inshallah ta'ala. We're going to continue with the book. And if you have any type of history about grammar, then it's not a problem, inshallah ta'ala. Right? We haven't covered anything too difficult, I don't think. He says, Al-Mubtada wal-Khabar. Al-Mubtada wal-Khabar. وتطابقهما the mubtada and the khabar, the subject and the predicate, and how they follow one another, basically. So let's read just for now we're going to read the first example from every set of examples here, and we will, inshallah ta'ala, go back and read the rest for your benefit. These classes are not meant to be everything that a person will need, or not something. It's not for us to be armchair students, meaning that we come, we listen, we write a note, and we never pick up the book again. If we study like that, then we're not going to progress, except over a very, very long period of time. And you can use me as an example. I could study in a much more proficient way and advance further than I have, right? So this is how life works. You need to take some self-initiative, right? We'll go over all the meanings of these words, inshallah ta'ala, so you can do it. But then it's your job to make yourself memorize them. So, an-namir. An-namiru sharisun. An-namiru sharisun. An-namir is a tiger. Right? Namir is a tiger. Right? Sharisun, it means the tiger. Sharisun is like rude and untamed and volatile, ready to erupt at any time. An-namiru sharisun. Right? So we see here the Mubtada is singular and male. And we see that the khabar is also singular and male. We see al-battatu sabihatun. Al-battatu sabihatun. Al-batta is the duck. The duck. Sabihatun is swimming, right? Sabiha meaning it is a swimmer. But here it means swimming. It's a swimmer, right? The duck is a swimmer, right? Here we see al-batta being feminine, singular, and the khabar being feminine, singular, right? This is not a new chapter of information. It's not new. This is easy. In the third group, we see التلميذان حاضران. التلميذان حاضران. التلميذ is the student, the pupil, right? The pupil. التلميذان, the two of them. حاضران, they're both present. حاضر, present. التلميذان حاضران, the two students are both present. So we see here the mubtada is masculine and dual, and the khabar is masculine and dual, hadir, meaning present. We go to the fourth group, al-bintan, the two girls, from bint, al-bintan, the two girls, mujtahidatan. Al-bintan mujtahidatan, right? Al-bintan mujtahidatan, the two girls. We see the mubtada is feminine dual, and the khabar is also feminine dual. We added a ta. We didn't say mujtahidan, we said mujtahidatan with a ta marbuta. In the fifth group, we see the mubtada al-muhsinun. Al-muhsinun mamduhun. Al-muhsinun mamduhun. The good doers, muhsinun, those who have ihsan, those who do good. Mamduhun, are praised. Mamduh, from the word madah, right? Madah, meaning to praise, right? Not the word hamd, right? Which is similar. Hamd is something different. We'll learn that inshallah inside of tafsir, right? Mamduh is to praise something, or be praiseworthy, and whether the person deserves it or not, whether it's an action or not, all this this is the inside the word madah, right? Al muhsinun mamduhun, they are praised. We see the mubtada here is masculine, plural. The khabar is masculine plural. In our last series here, the last section, it says as-sayyidat muhadhabat. As-sayyidat, the plural of sayyida, like Mrs., right? We're talking about Mrs., someone, a woman. We talk about like sir and ma'am, right? This might be plural of ma'am, but I don't know how to say that in English. Ma'ams, right? Or like we say Mrs. and Mr., right? A sayyid, like Mr. so-and-so. A sayyida, Mrs. so-and-so. A sayyidat, it's plural. Muhadhabat, the women, the Mrs., the ma'ams, the women, they are the noble women. They are well-mannered. Muhadhab, from ha, dal, ba. Muhadhab, meaning to be mannered, to be disciplined. As-sayyidat muhadhabat. So we see that the mubtada is feminine plural, and here the khabar is feminine plural. But this feminine plural is for the aqil. It's for the aqil, right? Those things which have an intellect. As for ash-shajarat, right? Ash-shajarat, which is the plural of shajarat, the tree, right? Then we can say about ash-shajarat, we can say, right, muriqat or muriqa. Muriqat or muriqa, meaning they have leaves. From waraq, the word waraqa, meaning like waraqa, meaning to have leaves. Muriqat, they have leaves, they have bloomed, they're in season. Muriqat or muriqa. So we could say ash-shajarat muriqat, or we could say ash-shajarat muriqa. The third example, al-qusur, the palaces, from the word qasr, the word palace. Qusur, the palaces, those big huge houses. Aliyah, or we could say aliyat. Now these two things here, these two sentences, we see the mubtada is it is a non-intellectual plural, right? So we can talk about it in the singular or in the plural form of it. So we can say ash-shajaratu muriqat or muriqa. Or we can say al-qusur aliya or aliyat. Now, we'll use our norm or our habit here to go and read the bahth or the explanation of this. And I went over it quickly so we could read the bahth, and then we'll go up and read it again, and then we'll read the qawaid, and we'll read all the examples. The bahth, it says here, انظر إلى المبتدأ في كل طائفة من الأمثلة السابقة. Look at the mubtada, at the subject in every one of the groups from the examples above, the preceding examples. ووازن بينه وبين الخبر, and compare between them and between the khabar. تجد أن المبتدا في طائفة الأولى مفرد مذكر. You'll see that the mubtada, the subject in the first category, the first group, right, was a singular masculine mubtada, singular masculine subject. وأن الخبر كذلك, and that the khabar was likewise singular masculine. وأنه في طائفة الثانية مفرد مؤنث وكذلك الخبر, and in the second group it was singular feminine, and the khabar, the predicate, was likewise. وإذا نظرت إلى الطائفة الثالثة, and if you look at the third group, رأيت المبتدأ مثنى مذكرا ورأيت الخبر مثله. If you look at the third group, you'll see that the subject, the mubtada, is dual masculine, and you will see that the khabar is likewise. وتجد في الطائفة الرابعة, and you'll see in the fourth category, fourth group, كلا من المبتدا والخبر مثنى مؤنث. You'll see every one of the mubtada and the khabar, both of them are dual feminine. وفي طائفة الخامسة, and in the fifth group, ترى المبتدا جمع مذكر عاقل والخبر كذلك. You find in the fifth category that every one of the mubtadas, the subjects, they were plural masculine aqil. Aqil. They have an intellect. They're not dogs. They're not tables. They're not ink pens or notebooks. They're something with an intellect, right? And likewise the khabar is too. أما الطائفة السادسة, and this is why I read all three examples there. As for the sixth group, فالمبتدأ فيها, then the subject, the mubtada in them, إما جمع مؤنث عاقل, it's either a plural feminine which has aqil like sayyidat, وفي مثالنا وخبره جمع مؤنث عاقل أيضا, and in this example of sayyidat muhadhabat, then our khabar was also plural feminine as well. وإما جمع مؤنث سالم لغير العاقل. But as for the plural, the feminine plural which does not have an aqil, right? Oh, jam taksir li ghayr al-aql, same thing, either way, whichever one, whether it's jam mu'annath salim or jam taksir, if it does not have the intellect, wa khabru hadain yajuz an yakuna jam mu'annath, or yajuz an yakuna mufradan mu'annathan, then it's permissible for that khabar to be, right, plural, right, or it's permissible for it to be singular feminine. So let's go back up to our examples, inshallah. If there's any questions, please type them in anytime. Just anytime you have a question, type it in. So let's read our first. Again, the first section we said it is, the mubtada is masculine singular. An-namiru sharisun. The tiger is wild, right? wild here, untamed, Al-kalbu alifun. Al-kalb, the dog is alif. Alifun means tamed, right? Tamed, able to live with you. Al-kalbu alifun, right? Even though dogs are haram, they don't live with us, right? In this word here, al-kalbu alifun, the dog is tame. An-najmu lami'un. An-najmu, the star, lami'un. It's bright, it's shining, right? It's shining, it's bright, right? Each of these, the mubtada is masculine singular. And each of them, the khabar is masculine singular. In the second group, al-battatu sabihatun, the duck is swimming, right? Zainabu muti'atun. Zainab is muti'a, from the word ta'a, to be obedient. She is obedient. Zainabu muti'atun. She's an obedient girl, obedient daughter, obedient wife, right? Al-madinatu amiratun. Al-madinatu amira. Amira means to be populated, to be crowded, right? Not to be empty. The Medina, it's populated, it's crowded, right? Al-madinatu amiratun. We see each of these mubtadas, they are feminine. Medina, Batta, both have ta marbuta. Zainab doesn't have a ta marbuta, but we know that is a woman's name, so it's feminine, and therefore all of the khabar are singular feminine. The third group, at-talmidan, the two students, hadiran, are both present. Al-kitaban jadidan, the two books are new. Al-khafiran sahiran. Al-khafir comes from khafara, meaning to be a watchman, a guard, like a guard, a watchman, someone who, a khafir is someone who, like a guard, a bodyguard or a watchman. Al-khafiran, the two watchmen, sahiran. Sahiran meaning they are staying up all night because they're watching, they're on guard. Sahir, from sin ha ra, meaning to spend the night up, right? To spend the night awake. Sahira, right? Al-khafiran, sahiran. We see these are, the mubtada here are all masculine dual. And we see our khabar, all of them masculine dual. Then we have al-bintan mujtahidatan. The two girls are mujtahidatan. Al-hadiqatan muthmiratan. The two gardens, hadiqa, garden, hadiqatan, muthmira, from tha mim ra, like the word thamar for fruit, muthmiratan, meaning that the two gardens are producing fruits, right? They're producing fruits. Well, hijratan wasi'atan, hujratan, asif. Well, hujratan, hujr is like the word hujurat, like in Surah Al-Hujurat, the rooms, the houses, wasi'atan, al-hujratan wasi'atan. Then they are wide, they are vast and spacious. We see here the mubtada, all of them are dual feminine, and we see our khabar, all of them dual feminine by the ta, right? In our fifth category, al-muhsinun mamduhun, right? The good doers are praised. At-talamid adhkiya'un, or adhkiya'u, the talamid, the students, the plural of tilmid. Talamid, adhkiya, they are intelligent, from the word dhaki. And al-kusala mu'aqabun. Al-kusala, from kaslan, the lazy people. Here's plural. Al-kusala mu'aqabun. Then they are punished, right? They are punished, mu'aqab, or they fall behind, or they are punished, mu'aqabun, right? Those, all we see the mubtada in all three of these, they are plural, masculine, and aqil, right? They have intellect, right? And the khabar is likewise plural. In our sixth category, Then we have something a little bit different, as we said. As-sayyidatu muhaddabat. Here we have aqil. Right? Here we have aqil. And our khabar has to be plural, like the mubtada. Whereas here, na ghayr aqil, just write ghayr. Then, ash-shajarat and qusur ghayr aqil. Trees and palaces, they don't have intellect. Right? Muriqat or muriqa. Then we can make our khabar here to be singular, or we can make it to be plural. Either way. It could be this or it can be that. And they put here, they didn't keep the same order. Here they put the plural and then the singular, and here they put the singular and the plural, to show you there's no preference of one over the other. Right? To show you it could be this or it can be that. Are there any questions about these examples? Any of the meanings of the words? If I come down here, I can find our qaida, our rules. Our qawaid here, we learn 2 rules here. Right? We learn 2 rules in this chapter. Right? Al-khabaru. The 102nd rule. We've done 101 rules so far. Right? Al-khabaru yutabiku al-mubtada. The khabar, it is in line with, it follows, it is in agreement with al-mubtada, the subject. Fil ifrad, in singular, right? In the singular. Wa tathniya, in the dual. Wal jamu tadhkir wa ta'nith, and in the masculine, right? And feminine plural. Meaning feminine plural aql. Right? Aql. And then the 103rd rule, إذا كان المبتدا, if the subject, jam'an, is a plural, لغير العاقل, for other than intellectual things, anything other than humans, jinns, and angels, basically. يجوز إخبار عنه, it's permissible to inform, to bring a khabar about it, to bring some information about it, bil jam, in the plural, or in the mufrad al mu'annith, in the singular feminine. Right? If it's ghayr mu'annith. So for instance, if I go back up real quick and I say our example here where we had al-kitaban jadidan. If I were to come over here and write it in the plural, I could say al-kutub. Right? Al-kutubu. This is a ghayr aql, plural. Then I can say jadida. It's not letting me write my tar marbuta. Sorry about that. Jadidatun. Right? I can say al-kutub jadida, or I can say jadidat. It's up to me which one I want to say. Right? Al-kutubu jadidatun, or al-kutubu jadidat. If I were to say al-khafiruna, then I have to say, right, sahiruna. Why? Because it's aqil. Right? So if I were to say al-mudun, which is the plural of Medina, al-mudun, I want to make it plural. First I'll make it dual. Al-Madinatan, Amiratan, Amiratan. Right? Now I want to make it plural. Al-Mudun, Amira, Amirat. Right? And because it is ghayr al-aqil. Are there any questions about this? I would like to take a minute or two to just try to, but the lack of microphones makes it difficult because I'm just talking and it's difficult for you guys to respond. But we're going to go over these examples for us real quick to give us the idea of what we're talking about. Right? So ad-daraja. Ad-daraja is a bicycle, right? Ad-daraja. If we were to put a khabar about ad-daraja, what would we say? For instance, we want to say it's fast. Ad-darajatun sari'atun. Sari'atun. My pen is not writing very nice right now. Sari'a. Sari'atun. Right? It's going to be singular like daraja because daraja is singular. Feminine, singular. Al-manzil, the house. Al-manzil, kabir. It's going to be masculine, singular, just like manzil. As-sa'atu, the hour. Qaribatun. Qaribatun. Right? It's close. It's close. It's feminine singular. The khabar is going to be feminine singular. Sa'atun qaribatun. Al-harisan, the two guards. Sahiran or tawilan, they're tall. Or qawiyan, they're strong. Right? You're going to write something dual. Ar-rakibun, those riders, those passengers, right? What about them? Samitun, they're quiet, right? Yal'abun, they're playing around. Those people who are riding the bus, they're playing around. You're going to bring something plural here, right? Not yal'abun, because yal'abun is la'ibun. La'ibun. Yal'abun is a verb. La'ibun. Then we have al-bihar, the oceans. We can talk about bihar, right, in the plural or in the singular because it is غير العاقل. Al-mu'allimatan, the two female teachers. We're going to bring a mu'allimatan dhakiyatan. They are very intelligent. An-nahar, right? An-nahar. I think that's what that says. Yes, it's just kind of unclear. The river, we're going to bring that masculine singular because it's a masculine singular. Akhadimat, the female servants, those like maids, right? We're going to talk about them in the feminine. We're going to talk about them in the feminine plural. Al-khadimat ta'iyat, like this. They're obedient. An-nafidhatan, the two windows, we're going to talk about them feminine dual because they are dual. Al-qalaman, singular, are dual, masculine rather. Al-jibal, we can talk about them either feminine singular or plural. Al-umal, we must talk about them in the masculine plural because they're masculine plural. Al-mudarris, we're going to talk about him in the singular. And al-waridat, al-waridat, the imports. Al-waridat, that's what it means, the imports. We're going to talk about that either feminine or singular. Any questions? It's a pretty easy rule. The khabar is always going to follow the mubtada, except if it is a plural غير aqil, then we can talk about it either in the feminine or the plural. Any questions? طيب. Inshallah ta'ala, tomorrow we will meet and we will have Quran. We will continue in the tafsir of Surah Al-Fatiha, and we'll have hadith. We'll go over the second hadith in Umdatul Ahkam, and the brother Abu Taymiyyah, he'll be here to talk about poetry and to go over some poetry with us bi'idhnillah ta'ala. If there's any questions from the class, then feel free to WhatsApp me. Not phone calls, please, because we're at different time zones and I have classes and other responsibilities. But you can WhatsApp me here or through Facebook. Subhanaka Allahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk. Ubaydullah, you keep raising your finger, but I don't know what that means. If you can't type and tell me, then I can't tell you. If you have a microphone, please come in and text me and tell me. And if you're a male and I'll open it up, it's much easier and the class goes much better because it's a two-way thing instead of one way. Anyway, سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.